All right, Victoria, it is all yours. Take it away.
Okay, well, thank you, Kiwi, for organizing this call. My name is Victoria Pluckenpole. I'm a presidential diamond with doTERRA, and I am really excited that David Kiwi asked me to do this because this is just a really great high-level overview of the basics, and I'm going to go through some of it pretty quickly and then really focus in on the placement strategy, which is, I think, what you really wanted me to focus on. So I hope I was right with that. But here we go. Hopefully, if I can make my screen go. Okay, so first thing, like I said, the basics. What is it that we actually do when we say we're building a doTERRA business, right? And I've heard a lot of people say, I do doTERRA. Well, what do you do? What does that mean? So this is basically high level what we do. We prepare, and that means that we're preparing ourselves with education and attending events where we are prepared, right? We either have a business card or some samples or something in our bag at all times. So we make sure that we're prepared. The second thing that we do is we invite people to take a look at what we're doing, take a look at how we're living, right? Often it's the how we're living that will strike their curiosity, at first, right? Living toxin free, keeping my family safe, that kind of thing can pique curiosity. So we invite people to take a look at what we're doing and how we're living. What does that look like? That looks like a presentation of some sort. So the third thing that we do is we present. And that means we invite them to a class in our home, or we invite them to a class that's online, or we might have a class or just a one-on-one or a one-on-two in a coffee shop. But some way, someone is showing them the products and possibly the business opportunity. The third thing that we do is we enroll people, right? And sometimes we don't like the word enroll because people don't want to be enrolled. We help them open their wholesale account. We help them have access to the products, however you want to verbalize that, and it may change with different people. But basically what that is we're helping them open a wholesale account with doTERRA, right? If they open as a wholesale customer, they get the products at wholesale. If they open as a wellness advocate, they have access to the business opportunity. And then finally, we support the people that we do bring in, whether it's answering question products or business products or getting them into all of the different groups that we have as a community so that they will be best supported. And this is called pipes, right? And there's a whole story behind pipes, but I'm not going to go into that. You might have already seen that when you looked at the business in the first place. But pipes is what we do. And I want to point out the IPE in the middle, invite, present, enroll. I call that income producing elements, right? I know in business it's IPAs, but I had to make it fit my life, right? So I call it income producing elements. So if you actually want to make money in doTERRA, which I'm presuming if you're on this call or you're watching this recording, you're wanting to build the business, that is where the income producing elements come in. You're inviting people to take a look at what we have, you're presenting what we have, and you're helping them open an account. That is the meat of the business. So is that pretty clear for everybody? All right, so now we're going to take a look at very high level. If we're doing those pipes, how much time does it take? How much money can we make? That type of thing. So again, this is high level, but if you're only able to carve out 3 to 10 hours a week, then it's going to take you probably about, I think it's about 1 or 2 months to hit elite, 2 to 3 months, somewhere in there. And that's going to be about, I mean, it can vary. If you hit Premier in 6 months, anywhere from 139 to 878, 10 to 30 hours per week. You're going to go faster, obviously. And if you have 25 to 50 hours a week, which is really you're doing this full time, then in 6 to 9 months, that is the average for somebody to hit the rank of gold. Now, again, that is only if that person is doing the income producing elements for sure. And preferably the whole laying the pipes, right? So it's not like you sign up and in 6 to 9 months, you're going to be gold and you don't teach a class and you don't show up to calls and you don't show up to events. It's just, it doesn't just happen. You are signing up with doTERRA to be the CEO of your own business, right? So you need to understand that this is not a pyramid scheme. This is not a get rich quick scheme. This is a business opportunity that you have in the palm of your hands that is absolutely incredible, right? All we have to do is the pipes, and doTERRA does the sourcing and the quality and the payroll and all that other stuff, right? So this is what the time kind of looks like, but this is what I hear all the time. How many of you hear this? I don't have any time, right? We're all so busy. I get it. I totally get it. I have 3 kids. I have my business. My husband travels. My mom lives with us. I have a dog. Like, life is full, and that's good, right? We want to have a good, wonderful life, but it does make it seem like we don't have any time. But I have to share this quote with you. How we spend our days is, of course, how we spend our lives. What we do at this hour and that one is what we're doing, right? And so it's really important for you to know how you're spending your life, right? Because so many people don't realize how much time they actually have. And when it comes down to it, hang on one second, I got to move this chat box. When it comes down to it, we actually do have enough time if we schedule it. So let's take a look at this. And I really, we're not going to do this right now because I don't have time, but I want you to do this exercise. It's really a fun and interesting exercise. So where is my, there we go. There is 168 hours in a week for everyone. I want you to reduce the hours spent doing some of the below activities. As an example, you may have other activities that you need to put in there. But let's say you work full-time, 40 hours, right? Deduct that from the 168. And you spend 10 hours commuting back and forth to work. Or maybe you're going back and forth to your kids' school. And you're getting ready for work, shower, making coffee, all those things that we have to do. 10 hours with family and friends during the week. Those are usually evenings and weekends. 10 hours per week running errands, doing chores. 56 hours, I hope, sleeping, right? This is a misnomer. People are like, oh, I'm only going to sleep 5 hours so I can go faster. You won't go faster. You won't be as effective, efficient, or productive if you get less than 8 hours of sleep. So we want you to put those hours in. 5 hours exercising. Maybe you have a couple of hours at church if you're a person of faith. So you deduct all of that, and you actually have 35 hours left over per week to build your business, right? That's after doing all of that. Now, again, each one of you need to work your own schedule, see how much time you actually do have left. I have worked with people that have they're like, oh, I have 97 hours. I don't even know where it goes, right? Because they don't work. And they're like, they don't really even know where the time goes. And there's other people that they're like, legit, I have 12 hours or 10 hours. It doesn't matter what you have. We want to just figure out what you do have and make that very effective towards building your business. Because if you only have 10 hours, you probably really need this business to get some freedom in your life. Just saying. Okay, so very important to put your priorities in, because you want to make sure that your life is going the way you want it to go. This is my 5Fs. Faith goes in first. It's a non-negotiable for me. Family, that includes you, right? If you take care of yourself, that is taking care of your family. Everybody knows that a rested mama is a better mama. Finances, this is your business, right? So I put in my faith, I put in my family, then I put in my business, then I put in my friends. And I got to be honest, after 8 years, most of my friends are in the business with me, or I've made new friends that are in the business. And this equals freedom. And why does this equal freedom? Because I don't have to worry about anything, because I know it's got a time to happen, because I've put it in my calendar, right? I mean, a lot of people that are on this call tonight have seen me open my calendar and say, oh, nope, that's Kaylin's volleyball game, or that's, I have a church event that day. Nope, can't do it. And I live my priorities out in my calendar. And it also helps me to stay balanced, right? Because as you build this business, you will find it's very easy, because it's fun, right? It's super fun to get out of balance, because there's all this cool stuff going on. But you need to make sure you have your priorities in, so that when you do reach, diamond and blue diamond and beyond, your family and yourself, you're intact. That's the most important thing. Okay, so what does this look like? I take the whole year calendar and I map it out. I put those big boulders in that are non-negotiables, anniversaries, birthdays, things like that. Then I take it by month, then I take it by week, and then I take it by day, and then I take it by hours, right? And I can actually break this down into 15 minutes, actually. But this is how you actually control your life. And I know a lot of people will say to me, oh, that sounds terrible. That sounds like I would be trapped, and I don't think I could do that. But trust me, try it for 1 month, because what you'll actually find is absolute freedom in this, because I don't have to worry about anything. I know exactly that my priorities are in there, when they're going to happen. I know even when I'm going to go grocery shopping. I even put that in my calendar, right? And then it clears my brain, because I'm never worried about, oh, when am I going to do this? When am I going to do that? I don't know when I'm going to do this, because it's all mapped out. So I have total clarity of mind doing it this way. And it just helps you know when you're going to be doing your doTERRA business, right? Now, in page 19 and 20 of the Business Builder Guide, or the BBG, you are going to find some more details on this. Prepare, share, invite, using the products. 10% of your time should be on prepare, 20% on support, 70% of your time should be on those income producing elements. Because why? That's where the money is. That's where the money is. And I see this all the time, where people will start, they'll be doing the IPs, and they get 10 or 20 people on their team, and they go super hard into support. Or should we call it micromanaging those 20 people, right? We have tons of resources for you that the people can get plenty of support, and you need to stay focused on those IPEs, because that's where you grow your business, and that's where you're going to make the money. Okay, they give you a nice sample calendar of what this would look like for you. So this is, again, is on your Business Building Guide workbook. You may have the hard copy book. Oops, I have mine right here. Or you can simply download the PDF as well, but it looks like this. This is the Business Building Guide. And everything you need to build your business is in this book, by the way. All right, so again, going high level over this. And then the next thing I have people say to me is, well, I just don't have the energy. I'm so tired by the time I fill in the blank, by the time I get home from work, by the time I'm done with the kids, by the time whatever, right? I don't have any energy left. Well, how long do you want to live like that? Right? I mean, something has to shift. We want to address this and fix this. So let's look at energy. First thing, and I touched on this earlier, you got to be getting your sleep. And this is such the biggest misnomer of people saying, I don't have time, so I'm going to cut my sleep. And then they have no energy, and then they can't get things done, and they don't do them well. You need to be eating whole foods. Simple, simple. If God made it, you can eat it. If man made it, don't. We have tons of resources to take you deeper on that, but you got to be giving your body premium fuel so that you have energy. If you put fill your body with leaded junk fuel, that's how you're going to feel. Exercise, you need to move your body, whether it's joining a gym or taking a walk or parking your car further in the parking lot when you go shopping or taking the stairs, you need to move your body. I went to a fitness camp a couple of years ago, and there was this PhD in whatever that's called, physiology, exercise doctor. Anyway, he had shared with me that if you move your body intentionally for 2 minutes, 4 times a day, I see Holly doing it right now. Go girl. Woo, 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 woo. 2 minutes, 4 times in a day, you are going to be 47% healthier. 47% shift in your health. That means I have a yoga mat right on my floor here. So between calls, I might just pull it out and do 2 minutes of sit-ups. And then after a couple hours, I get it out. I do 2 minutes of push-ups. Get it out. I do 2 minutes of jogging in place. Get it out. I do 2 minutes of stretching, right? I don't need to join a gym. I don't need to go buy Lululemon clothes. I don't need to do all this stuff and take showers all the time. Right? I'm just moving my body. That's on my busy days. Now, when I have more time, I do like to take long walks or go hiking, whatever, but you got to figure this out for you. Whatever your excuses are of why you're not moving your body, I just crushed it for you. Everybody can do 2 minutes 4 times a day. All right. Take your LLV. If you're on this call, you're already in Long Life Vitality. This is the foundation for your nutrition. Just do it. You will feel better. If you are really in a slump, the kids kept you up all night, or your dog, Mito 2 Max is a very safe, natural way to get some energy to stimulate your mitochondria. And of course, we have our MetaPower now, which has just been a game changer. And what happens when we do this? This equals better focus, better intention, more joy, better with consistency, enthusiasm, and good memory, right? Get rid of this brain fog. There was a study done. People who score high on energy are energetic, animated, and enthusiastic. They're gregarious, competitive, fun-loving, and sociable. They are more comfortable with new people, places, and experiences. Doesn't that sound like somebody you would like to be? And if you are focused on maintaining your energy by doing the things above, then you're going to have that. And it actually sounds like the perfect wellness advocate to me. So make sure you're working on your energy. So what happens if I make the energy and I find the time, right? Money happens, right? Because you have the time now to build your business. You have the energy now to build your business. So let's take a look at what happens when we apply high energy time to this business model. Okay, so a lot of you have seen this. This is the ranks in dōTERRA. And I have to just share with you, I'll share this. The average person at the rank of elite, the average is $365. Now, I want to be clear. When you very first hit the rank of elite, it's probably about half of that because you're a very, very skinny elite. Like you're just like 3,001 PV. They're looking at averages here, right? So there's some kind of big fat elites, right? Like the guy above me is an elite and he has a presidential diamond under him. So he's kind of skewing the numbers. So I just want to be really clear with that. So nobody's disappointed with their commission check the first time they hit. This is the only time in your life you want to be fat. You want to be a fat elite. You want to be a fat premier and so on. So when you very first hit, let's say not very first hit, when you're an average elite, let's say if you do 12 hours a week, you're making $7 an hour. That doesn't sound that exciting, does it? If you're doing 20 hours a week, you're making $4 an hour. I'm not making this better right now, am I? It's actually $3.50. When I very first decided to do the business, I went in full time right away. So I was doing 40 hours. So I was really making like shy of $2 an hour, which seemed a little crazy with my education and experience, but I saw the bigger picture, right? I knew what was going to come. So I was willing to make $2 an hour for a time. Now, the average person takes 3 months to hit the rank of elite. That's average. Again, you have people who take 3 years to hit the rank of elite, skewing that number. I hit the rank of elite in my first class, so I skewed that number. So don't get too hung up. You do you, depending on the number of hours you have, but make sure you're doing the income producing elements with those hours. Okay, let's watch what's going to happen. When you hit the rank of premier, if you're doing 12 hours, you've now got a raise to $17 an hour. You're doing the same thing. You've just been doing it a little bit longer. If you're working 20 hours a week, you're making 10. I was working 40, so I was making $5 an hour at premier. But you know what? It was worth it because look what happened. Oops, we just went too far. 12 hours became $48 an hour. 20 hours became $29 an hour at the rank of silver. Again, you can split $15 at 40. Then when you hit gold, and again, these are averages. I want to just really point this out. When you are a skinny, brand new gold, your average paycheck could be like $3,000, right? The numbers are skewed and this is inflated, but I want to tell you, keep going. Don't go, oh, it's only 3,000 and they said it was going to be 5,500 and I'm going to quit. No, keep going. I promise you, because look what happens. You know, at platinum. Now, let's be honest. Maybe at platinum, when you very first hit, you're only making 6,000. Who's going to be happy with an extra 6,000? Knowing that at platinum, you now you have 3 silvers with you, right? So those silvers are probably what? Doing the income producing elements. That means they're starting to grow themselves without you having to put in that work. So you're starting to leverage your time now, right? Now, diamond. I'm going to be honest here. At diamond, you're starting to work a little bit more because you've got 4 silvers. That's like having 4 teenagers. Just going to be honest. It is like having 4 teenagers. You're kind of busy. You're kind of running around, making sure that they're doing everything, helping them to get their classes going. You're a little busy. So you're working more hours at diamond. I'm just telling you. I am not a sugarcoat person. My number one strength is responsibility. I just kind of tell it like it is. And I want nobody to be disillusioned. But I want to tell you, keep going. It's so worth it, right? You're working probably more hours at this point. You don't have to be. But if you're making 17,000 a month, now, again, let's be realistic. Let's say you're only making 12,000 a month. You probably have left your job if you had one, or you've gone part-time and you have more hours to give to your doTERRA business. And why would you do that? Because look what happens. If you just don't quit, it keeps on going and growing. Now, does it go in a straight Kager, as my husband calls it? Does it just go straight up? Like, no. Let's see, I did, and then I plateaued, and then I had a little dip, and then I went up, and whatever. It's going to be a little bit more like this, but the Kager will eventually go straight up. So Blue Diamond, the average is 41,000. Again, when you very first hit, oh my goodness, what if you only make 25,000 a month? Who would be happy, right? But now you know your Blue Diamond, and now you know that as people keep going and growing and building, it's only going to, it takes on its own life form, right? Where it just is growing. Because I have people on my team that if I were to just say, you know what, I think I'm going to take a year off. Do you think Pete's going to be like, oh, well, I guess I have to wait for her? No, I'll come back a year later, and Kiwi and Pete and Heidi, everybody's going to be like off the chart. And I'm going to be like, oh, okay, I got to catch up now. And then look at this. You guys, what happened to the hours here? Presidentials can start to step back if they want. I know presidentials who don't do anything anymore except place their order. Now, that is totally an option for you. I can't see me ever doing that because I love too much what I do. I love just helping people every day. It gives me a super buzz. So I don't see myself doing that, but you could work, 5 hours a month and just place your order, make a couple phone calls, or you could work like, I'm sure Elise Chedevy, who's now triple presidential. She's done this 3 times. She's still going strong because she's passionate about changing lives, right? So she is a triple presidential. Figure that out. She makes multiple millions of dollars a year because she just keeps going. So when you reach the rank of presidential, it's up to you. It's up to you because you're the CEO of your own business, right? You can keep going or you can back off and just, whatever, just kind of manage whatever. But this is what we're looking at. And what's super exciting, you guys? I basically do the income producing activities or income producing elements. I do the same thing at presidential that I was doing at elite. Now, I probably travel a little bit more at presidential to go visit my teams, but that's awesome. I love that. You do you. You're the CEO of your own business. So that's what the IPEs are going to do for you when you find the time and you do it with energy, right? Like, why wouldn't you do this? I mean, I'd be like finding the time. Okay, so that's kind of my basics overview. Now we're going to do we have any questions on this first part? Because I'm going to now shift into kind of the placement strategy of what do I do with the people when I enroll them. So any questions at this point, you can either unmute and ask me, or you can pop them in the chat.
I don't have a question. Do you mind if I add a little bit to this slide?
Oh, please do.
So like for perspective, to give a little bit of a reality thing, I had that check. I was like, wait a minute, I didn't make the elite money, right? When I first hit elite, I made about $100. It was like $97 was my first check. When I made Premier, I made about $160. And then I went back down to elite, and I've been kind of just over 3,000, almost 4,000 every month faithfully since then. And so I've maintained my elite, which is about $100, $110, depending on the unilevel and the fast starts that I get. Now, when you add your fast starts to that, well, in June, I almost got $500 in fast starts. I enrolled 30 people. The next month, I enrolled 6, so substantially smaller. So yes, and this is one thing I always try to emphasize, especially for anyone who's watching this that I send the recording to. When you hit elite, it's not hey, I'm going to make $300 every single month. It's like, no, what you apply yourself to, you can. In June, if you count all the fast starts and everything I made, I was pushing $800. But since then, I've been about 150. So what you want to do, though, is, and I love how, Victoria, how you put it, keep the big picture in mind. You're not building... you're not going and getting a job with doTERRA. I'm going to go put in hours and trade hours for money, or talent for money. I'm building a business that, yes, if I wanted to at one day sit at Presidential Diamond and collect a paycheck, I can. And whether that takes 7 months or 7 years, I think that's worth the energy to do it.
Yeah.
Anyway, my 2 cents.
Well said. And also what we're going to go into now, that was perfectly launched me into the next thing, because in these averages, you know, they're also putting in the average number of enrollments and the fast start bonuses and the power of 3 structure, right? So if you're an elite and you're not getting your $50 power of 3, that knocks you down $50 in the big, you know, average picture. So yeah, you totally have to just keep pushing through and know it will shift. No, it will shift. I have a friend of mine, and I think that they stayed elite for like 8 months, right? And then they bumped up to premier, and they were like going diamond, right? They were going diamond, and it just was like not. And then all, you know, they're double diamonds now. A double diamond means that you've built presidential and diamond again. So could you imagine how many times they might have thought about quitting because they just weren't ranking, they just weren't getting there? And if they had, the only way to fail is to quit. If you keep going and you keep doing the income producing elements, that's the catch, right? You have to keep telling people, showing people, opening accounts with people. If you keep doing it, it will eventually hit. So now let's talk about where you're going to actually strategically place people to get true freedom. And when I mean true freedom, it's where your rank is really not going to drop. And I'm going to share this very transparently about, you know, I had something happen on my team where my rank dropped because somebody kind of quit. A whole leg disappeared, right? And it was painful, right? Did I say, oh gosh, I'm going to quit now because that was terrible and blah, blah, blah. No, I mean, I'm just rebuilding because I love what I do and I will rebuild it, but I'm going to rebuild it differently because I learned a very valuable lesson in that situation. And God is good because he actually brought somebody into my life who shared this training with me right when I was in the thick of it. And when I saw it, I just kind of like the angels started singing, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I needed. Because and I'm going to share this with you so that you have this in your mind the first time, right? So if you're brand new watching this, oh, how lucky. How lucky for you, because you get to set it up perfectly right. For me, when I found this training, I already had tens of thousands of people, and I had, you know, things were already set, and it was hard to make changes. But however, this new leg that I'm rebuilding, I'm doing it differently. So I share this with you. Again, you are the CEO of your own business. You can decide to do whatever you want. But this is something I will highly recommend, and I'm going to tell you why in this first slide that might look a little bit funny. But in this first slide, we have the freedom triangle and we have the drama triangle. And the way we're going to be building, the way I'm going to be showing you how to build, is so that we can avoid the drama triangle to the best of our abilities, and we can live in the freedom triangle, which is totally, totally fun. So let me explain these two triangles to you, and then I'm going to go into the actual placement strategies, and I will be referencing them. So you kind of need to know. So let's talk about the freedom triangle, because it's my favorite triangle. So in the freedom triangle, you have you, and you have the oils or the doTERRA products, and then you have doTERRA. And in this world, all I am doing is loving my products and teaching other people to love the products, teaching them natural solutions, teaching them toxin-free living, teaching them how to up-level their moods, all of those things, right? And then once they fall in love with this, then I teach them about doTERRA, and I get them to fall in love with the company, right? Fall in love with that it's privately held and debt-free. Fall in love with co-impact sourcing. Fall in love with the Healing Hands philanthropic arm, right? And then I'm going to get them to fall in love with me, right? Because the reality is people join you. They don't really join doTERRA. They follow the leader. They're joining you. That's why you need to have that energy, right? Because so that you're attracting people. Now, you are part of this bigger Team Oil community, right? So we're really getting them to fall in love with you and the community, fall in love with the oils and the products, fall in love with the company. And guess what happens? Once they fall in love with the lifestyle of doTERRA and the company and the community, they never leave. We have 65% retention rate, right? That's incredible in this type of business model, right? And all I do is help people fall in love with the oils, fall in love with the company, fall in love with the community, show them a class, help them enroll, get their account. Now, the reason why I keep oils and doTERRA separate is because the reality is if something horrible happened, doTERRA disappeared some horrible way. I can't even think of a way that I want to speak out loud. We are so in love with natural living, right, that we would just find the next best solution. It's not like doTERRA is going to go away and I'm suddenly going to start going to Walmart or something and getting my products, right? We love the oils. We love doTERRA. We know beyond a shadow of a doubt that as of this moment, doTERRA is hands down the most tested and the most trusted essential oil company in the world. And that's where we live in this freedom. Now, I'm not going to spend so much time on the drama because it's negative. Don't want to. But in the drama triangle, I'll share two ways that it can happen. Is one of the very common things that happen is that people come into doTERRA and they get very excited about the business, but then all of a sudden they're afraid of talking to somebody, or they're afraid of teaching a class, or they're afraid of making too much money, or they're afraid. They kind of have this little bit of victim in them. Could be something that happened in their childhood, right? Their parents said money's evil or whatever, right? So they have something within them that they get this negative self-talk going, right? And they were looking at doTERRA and saying, hey, maybe this could be my hero and help me out of this. But then somebody says no, they don't want to come to their class, and that person becomes the villain. And, oh, this isn't going to work for me because somebody said no. And you get all caught up in your head with this drama that's not even probably accurate. So we as a team, we do a lot of work with the ICANN Institute, with mindset work and trying to address those things. But this is just very common. So if you are finding yourself saying things in your head like, who am I to be able to be a diamond in doTERRA? I don't deserve to be a part of such a great community. Any of those negative self-talk things, those are lies. Most likely, those are lies that are blocking you. And I really, really encourage you to reach out to your upline, and you don't have to tell them the gory details of your thoughts. You just need to go up to your upline and say, hey, I'm just having some blocks inside. And that video said that there was something I could do to try to help start breaking down those blocks. That's all you have to do. Know that these are blocks, know that they are common, and address them. We have, like I said, the ICANN program, we have books, we have videos, we have all kinds of ways to help you get over those blocks. Now, the second way that a drama triangle could happen is really like the main reason why we want to build this way. And that is that somebody comes into your team and you put them on your front line and they start to become a victim for whatever reason. So I did have somebody come onto my team and she was a victim. She was single mom, no money. And I was like, I'll be your hero. For any of you who know VeggieTales, that just sounded familiar.
I am that hero.
Yeah. So I was going to be the hero. I was going to help her learn how to do the business, yada, yada, yada. And then I disappointed her. Something happened and I disappointed her. I didn't do something she wanted me to do, and I became the villain. Before that, everybody was the villain. Her parents were the villain. Her ex-husband was the villain. Her ex-in-law, everybody was the villain. And then I was the hero, became the villain. My husband became the hero. And then he disappointed her a few years later, and he became the villain. And then she said, I'm going to change teams, right? I'm going to just sit out. And this was a diamond leg, you guys. I'm just being very honest in this recording because I don't want to sugarcoat anything really. I want this this is business. This happens. This is rare. I have to tell you, very rare. But she found a new hero. We became villains. But during this time, she would do things that I refer to as holding me hostage, right? Because she was on my front line and she knew that whether or not she placed her order would make or break my rank. She got into this habit of saying, if you don't do this, I'm going to do that, or I'm not going to do that. And I got into a hostage situation is what I call it, right? This is not fun. It wasn't, I would kind of jokingly for years say, I love everybody in my whole team, except one, right? And that one can become quite a thorn in your side. So this way of building is going to help you stay in freedom. You're going to totally who wants to just live in the freedom triangle? Right? Hands up if you just want to live in the freedom triangle. You want to wake up every morning and say, who do I get to help today? Whether it's physically, emotionally, financially. I just want to live over here because this is pure joy and this not so much. So I share that with you because I'm going to refer to it during this next part. And I just want you to kind of be aware of situations that could happen for you. Now, this is the key to this training. And so if you want to get your own freedom build done, simply go to your upline. They have this template and they will be thrilled to help you fill it out for yourself. But just so you know, this matches the back office and the ranks, the colors. And a red flower is where you're focusing. A dark purple flower, it means they're already elite. And this means it's a spot that you're waiting to build. So that's going to make sense to you in a second. When they're at 2000 PV, have them do 100 PV LRP order. And when they're at 3000, they'll do 150 PV order. And that's also going to make sense in a minute. But know that your upline has this template and you can go do your own work on your own team. So, which is great. So I'm going to go ahead a couple really quick. So let's just say the hearts, which are up here on your front line. Hearts go on your front line. And these should be people that you love and adore. Maybe it's a family member, maybe it's a best friend. They may or may not be building the business with you, but it is somebody that you don't mind building them all the way to the rank of platinum, whether or not they're building, but they agree that once they're at the 2000 or 3000 PV, they will do either 100 or 150 PV order every month. Now, once they're at 3000 PV, as it starts to fatten up, we just heard Kiwi say, you're not making 300 and whatever dollars that first time, but he's making 100 plus, right? So to do 150 PV order with tax and shipping, let's say it's going to cost them $170, right? They're getting the majority of their products for free, right? And they will be completely free very soon. So we're not asking really for people to put out a whole lot of money. We're actually, we're actually telling them, I'm going to help you get your products for free for life over time, but at these certain steps, I need you to start kicking in. Now, the reason why we say 150 is for that power of 3 bonus, right? So if your heart and your 3 stars are doing 150 PV, then you're getting your $50 power of 3. Now, if your heart, your stars, and your flowers are doing it, then you're getting, you know, let's see, if you're above your heart, if you're above your heart, if you and your 3 hearts are doing 150, you get your 50. If your 3 hearts and stars, it's 250. Once it's your heart, stars, and flowers, you're getting $1,500 a month bonus, which is $18,000 a year on top of everything else. But that money goes into those averages, right? But who would like $18,000 a year just for having good structure? Right? Okay, so your hearts are somebody, like my 2 kids that are over 18, they're both hearts in my organization now. You know, obviously my daughter builds with me, so I call her a blessing heart, right? Because she's blessing and helping grow the business. My son right now is just sitting there as, you know, doing his order. So I am blessing him, right? I know that he has said, I'm not ready to build right now. He's got a nice gal in his life. Maybe she wants to step in at some point. So Regan is a blessing heart. I am blessing Garrett, is kind of the way I see it in my mind. Now, a star is somebody that you're going to ultimately help get to silver, right? You're going to do 3 elites under them, under the silver. And when you get those 3 elites done, this star becomes a silver, right? When you first do the first flower, when you get that first flower to elite, the star becomes elite, the heart becomes elite. Then you go down and you work on, you'd actually work on this flower. And when you get this flower to elite, this star goes elite, and the heart goes premier.
Hey.
I heard my
Right?
Oh.
Oh, can we mute ourselves? I think that's Pete making that noise. I don't know how to, can you mute him?
Yeah, I got him. I can boot him from the meeting too if I need to.
Ooh. Okay. So hearts are people that you are willing to make $10,000 a month for them. They need to place their 150 point order before the 15th of the month, and they may or may not be building with you, and you're okay with that. Stars are somebody that you're willing to get to silver, right? So these are like good friends, people that you trust, people who would actually give you access to their back office so that you could go in and place an order there if you needed to. Of course, on your own credit card, you would never do it on theirs. And again, stars might be blessing stars, or they might be blessed stars, depending on who you put in there. But what you want it to be is somebody that you know, like, and trust, and that's not going to hold you hostage, right? Flowers are people who you're going to help get to the rank of elite, right? And do you see these freedom triangles under here? The freedom triangles, that's where all my little customers go. So when I do an event, when I teach a class, I'm like, I have all these enrollments, and I'm like, where do I put them? I put them under the red flower, because I know that that's where I'm building, right? I need to get this flower to elite. And once this flower is elite, then I move to my next flower, and then to my next flower, right? And I'm just teaching my customers how to fall in love with the products, I'm teaching them how to fall in love with the company, and I'm getting them to fall in love with me and our community, right? And so they stay and they keep ordering. And then every once in a while, what happens? One of the customers, they start nibbling on the flour, they start nibbling on the oils, they start nibbling on doTERRA, and they say, you know what? I think I'd like to start sharing. And they get this cocoon around them and they start learning. And then they break out and they become a builder. Now, in our former way of building, we used to say, oh, I have a builder. How do I get him to my front line as soon as possible? We used to do that. But now I just want to suggest that maybe you consider just leaving that butterfly under the flower, and then you love and educate and encourage and embrace this beautiful butterfly, and you show them all the resources, and you share a house with them at convention, and you have a great time. And this beautiful flower, what's beautiful two ways, you guys, is that I never need to ask this flower, hey, can you place an order for such and such because I'm gonna miss my rank. I need you to enroll a couple of people because I'm going to miss this, whatever. I never have to do that to this building butterfly, because I only ever need this flower to be elite. I only ever need my hearts to be platinum. If they want to go beyond platinum, I'm going to be cheering them on and supporting that, but I don't need it, right? Now, the other beautiful thing is that this butterfly can't hold you hostage. Because if this butterfly says, I'm not going to place my order if you don't put people under me, or whatever she says, or he, you're okay, because if they've been building, and let's say they're the rank of silver, the volume goes up to the flower and you're fine. So if this butterfly decides to leave the meadow completely, you're still going to have a lot of volume there, and that's all you need is volume there. Right? Now, if this butterfly goes diamond, you're keeping the enrollment. That's the other beautiful thing. You never gift the enrollment. So as this butterfly builds and hits the ranks, you're going to get the leadership bonuses, right? And if this if this butterfly goes diamond, this becomes a diamond organization for you, right? So that's 99% of the time you're super safe with that. I was the 1% that had a butterfly leave, but trust me on this. This way, you're just building one elite at a time. And the woman who teaches this philosophy is a presidential diamond in Europe, and she says it's easier to find elites than it is to find platinums, right? Because if you're actually doing the IPEs, the income producing elements, you're teaching, you're just putting volume here till it gets to 3,000 in here. And this star might be a blessing star, and they're putting stuff there. Once people start making money, they start doing what you do because they're like, oh, I want to make more money. So it seems ominous at first, like I have to build everything myself. I have to build all these elites myself, but you don't. You do not, because butterflies will pop down here. First of all, butterflies will pop. You're still having builders who are solidifying your organization, but you will also have stars that start to share and start to enroll because they see how great it is and how it works. So then what we do is, I'm going to just go back a little bit. I think I'm going to go back a little bit. Nope, I'm not. Let me see if I can go back a little bit. Hang on one second. Yes.
Better take a shower.
Okay. Daughter needed to tell me that she's going to take a shower now during this training.
It's important stuff.
It's important. Okay. So this is going to be the first thing that you fill out. So what this basically is this is you building silver. Then this is you building gold, and this is you building to platinum, right? And then these are to help you just focus on each one of those individually, right? So let's go here. So let's say I'm going to pick Holly. So Holly gets her 3 stars in place. Let's say she only gets 2 stars in place because she doesn't really have a third heart right now. She's not sure who she wants to have be that third heart. Don't rush it. Don't rush it. Don't put people on your front line because you're feeling like I have to have 3 hearts. Take your time and get it right. Let's say Holly just is like, you know what? I have 1 heart. So she can put in 1 heart. Let's say it's her daughter. So Julia, she puts in her daughter here. And then the next person, she's going to put under the heart. Because if this person isn't a heart, is that person a star? Right? Or is that person a flower? Let's say that the second person is, she's like, oh, that's kind of a flower. Maybe I'm going to put somebody in. You know what? I'm going to put my sister-in-law in as the star. And then I'm going to put this enrollment as the flower. Because either sister-in-law is somebody she does know, like, and trust, and she's okay to have her be a star, or B, she's like, I can transfer that out when I find the right person. Right? So there's some ways that we can make some changes, and I'm not going to go over that tonight because that would be like a whole nother hour, but your upline will know, and it's also in the oil hub, which I'll touch on in just a second. So then Holly has her flower here. She doesn't have her second heart yet, and she doesn't have this yet, but she's not worried about it. So right now she's teaching classes, reaching out to people. She's brand new, and she's doing her thing, and she's just putting all of her caterpillars under the flower, right? But she's been reaching out to old friends on Facebook, and pop, sophomore year of high school, Jane was her best friend. They reconnect. And they like remember how much they loved each other. And Holly shares what she's doing. And Jane's like, oh my gosh, I've been looking for something like this. And Holly's like, she's a total heart for me. Right? So then Holly can put her second heart. Or maybe Holly has a second daughter, but she just kind of wanted to get this done first. Right? She built this to elite. Then she puts in her second daughter. We'll save Jane for the third heart. She puts in her second daughter. She builds this. She gets this to 2,000 points. Now Holly's a premier, right? She's still putting her caterpillars down here, but now Jane, best friend from high school, just pops into the scene. She puts Jane up here. Jane's actually excited. She wants to build. They go to convention together. They're like all in to change the world. They love it. And now she's building here with Jane, and Jane's doing her thing. Holly's actually not even having to do much with Jane because Jane's so excited, like all of us, that she's doing her own thing. And Holly's just pointing her in the right direction and cheering her on. And Holly's finishing this one because this is second daughter who's in college and not doing it fully yet, whatever, right? And then she gets this to elite. Jane's gotten herself to elite over here while Holly was finishing this. And now what? Holly's silver. Oh, and guess what happened? A butterfly popped down here. Maybe a butterfly popped down here. And Jane's building this one. So now Holly's kind of like, oh, everything's going. Okay. That took 3 months or 4 months, whatever, however long, right? Now she's like, okay, I'm silver and I'm pretty good. Everybody's pretty solid. Now I'm going to work on my second star under each of my hearts. Now Jane over here is building. She's already on her second star. She's rocking it. She even might have her third star. And Holly's just like, thank you. I love you. This is great. They're having a blast. And Holly enrolls second star here. And second star's a builder. And Holly's like, awesome. So Holly can pretty much walk away from that because that person's building on their own, doing their thing. And then Holly's over here looking for this star, right? People that you know, like, and trust that will, I'm telling you, my like criteria is like, give you the password to the back office so you can place an order so they can't hold you hostage and say, I'm not going to place an order or whatever. I mean, it wouldn't get that cantankerous. You want it to be people that you love, friends, family, people who are in this with you. And then you just keep going, right? Then you do your third star. And some will be blessings and some will be blessed, but you get yourself to platinum. Right? Now, as we saw in the chart, platinum average is 9,000. Probably when you first hit, it might be 6, but we're all happy at platinum. I always say my husband got interested in what I was doing when I hit platinum. When I hit blue diamond, I always say he started bringing me coffee instead of me bringing him coffee. Like, whatever you need. Now, once Holly builds to platinum, what is she going to do? She's going to find her 4th heart. And she's going to go diamond. And once she gets that 4th heart to silver, let's say that this star was a real builder, and this star, you know, or she had a builder pop down here that went, you know, platinum or whatever. You start having things pop and you build platinum, then you get all your hearts to platinum, and then you do it again, and then you're presidential. So you help 3 people. First, you get yourself to platinum, then you get your hearts to platinum, and then you do it again, and you're presidential. People, like Kiwi said earlier, people have gone presidential in, I know that the gal that does this, she went presidential in 18 months in Europe, which is a pretty tough market. Other people, it might take 7 years. It took me 6 years to hit presidential, right? And then in full transparency, had a leg drop, rebuilding. I will be presidential again, no doubt in my mind, because I'll never quit. And I'm doing what it takes to get there. Right? Not a problem. Structuring it beautifully. So excited about my 6 leg structure. Right?
So
I'm just going to do it.
can I add a little?
Yes, please.
I got so excited when Victoria showed me this because I had seen the build guide and I said, I can work in my job for the next 10 to 20 years. I may make it to the C-suite, CTO, Chief Technology Officer. I may even be a CEO one day of a company. But it will take me 10 to 20 years to do that. And I'll probably never touch presidential diamond salary. So that got my interest because I've been working for the last almost 10 years where I'm at. It's taken me 10 years, excuse me, to reach like a platinum salary. Maybe a diamond, maybe a low blue diamond, right? So it's like, okay, but I can do this in 6 years, and in 6 years I could do this. And then when she showed me this, here's what I was like, oh, because I was like, where do I find my builders? I need builders to build this. And I've found a few. I have found a few. I was texting one right now, trying to get her to come to the class. She had just gotten back from a trip. She's like, just send me the recording. I was like, all right, fair enough. But what I did is I said, who do I love and adore? And I built it one leg at a time. So I put in a heart. I put in I call them by their ranks, but I say I put in a platinum, I put in a silver, and I put in an elite. And then I said, okay, this is where all my customers are going to. So then when I teach a class, I say, this is our target flower, and everyone that gets enrolled underneath that class. And honestly, when you work with those people and they're people you love and adore, if they are already putting in an order, so they get 5, and then the person above them get 20, or they get 20 and you get 10 and you get 5, you can put that 35% together and you can use that to help launch other classes. Now, there's some benefits to that by working with people that you know and love and adore, but don't feel like you have to fill out the whole thing right off the bat. I did. And I did actually. I filled out, I have 4 legs filled out almost to this level of people that are like waiting to put in orders till I'm elite. Now I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to build all these legs. Whereas if you just start with one and focus on one elite at a time, and you'll turn back eventually and you'll be like, oh my gosh, I climbed this mountain to, diamond or presidential diamond, whatever your goal is, by doing it one elite at a time.
Yeah. Yeah. And there will be people helping you along the way. You're not doing it alone. And you just have to trust the process and not quit. That is probably the main thing. So let me try to get, this is all just getting all your legs together so you can see everything. So you can fill this out yourself, like I said. And everything you need to know is in the Oil Hub. If you have not been in the Oil Hub, it has 2 pathways. Let me check the time. I'm over time, but I did pretty well. It has 2 pathways. It has a pathway for your customers. It is everything product. And it has a pathway for builders, and it is everything business. And everything you need to go as far as you want to go, as fast as you want to go, is in the Oil Hub. And your upline, I promise you, will be thrilled to hear from you, right? Because that's our job. That's that freedom triangle, is just helping you fall in love with the products, helping you fall in love with dōTERRA, the company, the business, and helping you fall in love with our community, which is totally epic, global, and so supportive. So that's how you own your life. And I'm happy to stay here and answer questions. So does anybody have any comments, any questions? Happy to hang out.
I have found that people like to ask questions, but not on the recording. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording for those of you that are here.